All right. Hey, everyone. It's Dave Delavani here. And this is going to be, I believe, session 2 of my Business Not As Usual video series. And what I'm trying to do is interview local business owners, local folks that have nonprofits, CEOs of companies, et cetera, and kind of get an idea of what the COVID quarantine has done to their businesses and kind of how they anticipate coming out of that in the future. So today I have John Bartolozzi with me, and he's a loan officer and mortgage advisor with McLean Mortgage. And first of all, welcome, John. It's good to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Dave. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, no problem, no problem. I will say, I don't always have the choice of who my clients, when I have a buyer with Caldwell, I don't always have the choice of who they pick, but I always try to tell them all about McLean Mortgage because you guys do a fantastic job. And the main thing, besides your great rates and all that, and customer service, is I've never had anything go wrong and everything closes on time. So I greatly appreciate everything you've done for me in the past few years here. But I just want to go over kind of what I'm calling it BC, before COVID, what the industry was doing, how you guys were functioning before the virus hit, and what are you doing differently now that we're in the kind of active quarantine phase?
Absolutely. And before the coronavirus hit, it was a lot of day-to-day normal office operations, and everything ran smoothly. As the largest independent lender in the DC, Maryland area, we tend to, like you said, we're efficient. We are good at what we do when it comes to closing. We know how important that is for realtors. So we really tried to perfect that craft, and it was going really well. Obviously, with COVID and everything kind of coming into that, it's really kind of been crazy because there's so many different facets of the loan process. It passes through so many different hands during it, and to be able to coordinate that has been the real struggle and the real kind of learning curve that we've had to face over the past few months. We've been talking a lot, and a huge thing is that regulations have stayed with us, because in 2008, we saw what happens when the mortgage and the real estate market crashes, and we know how drastically that affects the economy. So a big thing was the government stood behind us. They supported us in order to push back this, because we don't want the mortgage industry to fail, nor is it failing. It's surging at all-time highs. Basically, every company is pushing limits that we haven't seen in the industry in the last 10, 15 years, and we're doing it all online. So that's been the biggest kind of understanding, trying to figure out team tactics in order to get us to this point. And a huge thing has been accountability. That's been the number one, where you have taken 250 employees and switched them all to remote. Where you used to interact, I could walk down the hall and talk to Sarah or Ashley, who work on my team, with Troy, and ask them questions, bounce ideas back, and we could all be on the same page. Where now it's all virtual, it's all email, it's all Zoom, and it's made things tough, but it's been a very interesting kind of experiment to see how we've adapted and see that we can do this. It is a feasible option for the modern business world. Yeah. And I think that we're going to see over the next 6 months, companies realize that people can be effective working from places of home. I personally, as I'm in the office right now, I like to be in the office as much as possible. I've been trying to follow regulations and try to come in as little, but it really has been kind of a tough experience in order to kind of figure that out from a team perspective, for sure.
Yeah, I think we're all adjusting here. It's even the real estate industry. We're doing like we do virtual showings now. They recommend we're allowed to go ahead and show houses. If we do, they recommend gloves and masks, and they recommend having a seller open up all the cabinets and doors so you don't have to touch it. So you touch as little as possible. So you make the minor adjustments, and then, but if possible, they're recommending virtual. So all of a sudden we're all learning new skills in this.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And a big thing for us has been appraisals. That was one of our biggest worries. Wow. Was having people go into other people's homes during the process amidst all this kind of chaos. So a huge thing that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac did for us is that they're allowing external appraisals if they meet certain requirements. It has been a huge help, because obviously at the end of the day, the most important thing is everyone's safety. We want to make sure that that our appraisers are staying healthy, that we're not putting our clients at risk or other companies' clients at risk. So we want to make sure that we could operate within those processes, and title on there and stepping up and doing virtual doing closings where there's no contact, where clients are staying in their car, because if that's what it takes, that's what the industry is going to do. Yeah. And people have really stepped up in this time, and they have allowed us to continue to operate rather than put handcuffs on us. Yeah. So it's been a really huge kind of time for, especially our industry. I know your guys too, the virtual showings, it's totally different, but it's something that it's kind of was creeping on a little bit, that people are on Zillow, people are on Redfin, looking at pictures online, doing virtual tours minorly. And this is going to be a huge step for the industry moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. You almost answered my final question, which is, what are we going to do once the quarantines are lifted? Everyone's saying get back to normal. I don't think there really is going to be a normal anymore. I think we're going to get back to something.
Yeah, there never is.
What it's going to look like, but what kind of changes do you anticipate as we come out of this?
I definitely think that working remote is going to be a way more evident thing, as companies said, because this is a huge time where right now it's almost like an experiment where we're seeing how operations go. We're seeing where the drags are, where we excel at, and how to improve upon those. I think that's going to be a major change across all industries, is realizing that some people are very productive from home. And it's also a different aspect to think of when you're looking at an employee, is, are they accountable? Can you rely on them to be on top of their work when there's not that overlying person or being in the office and having someone look over your shoulder? It definitely adds a different perspective, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing on our end. Yeah. I personally have always loved coming into the office. I love being able to see everyone and talk to people face to face, but it's definitely going to be more. Zoom is going to become very prevalent, Skype, working through those processes totally virtually. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing to come out of this.
Yeah, yeah. I'm an introvert, so I like staying home myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's good. I think one of the positives that's coming out of this is we're realizing just how versatile we are as human beings. That there's different. We're flexible. We're innovative. We can find different ways of doing things. The same business happens, maybe in a slightly different format, but it's going to happen. I think a lot of people were at first they were like, well, I don't want to buy a house right now. It's kind of weird. I don't want to sell a house right now. It's kind of weird. But actually, they're selling just as fast. I did a search yesterday. There's about half of the inventory that there was the same time last year that's on the market. So people have been hesitating. But the inventory it's still less than a 30-day turnaround that they're selling. So days on the market. So it's still quick. So if people want to sell and want to buy, they can jump right now. And their interest rates are in the low 3s or something. It's crazy. I mean,
unreal.
Yeah.
It's definitely, like you said, it's a hot market, and with that low inventory, it allows for a lot of opportunity. We are seeing multiple offers on houses. Things are still moving fast because like you said, the interest rates are kind of crazy right now. We've seen it stabilize a lot. Thankfully, that the government stepped in, helped us stabilize the 10-year Treasury rate. We've seen rates stabilize a little bit, which is really good on our end because we were seeing a ton of volatility. But yeah, we're talking about putting 5% down on a home and being in the low 3s. And we've never been in a time where that was possible.
Yeah.
And so if you're a first-time home buyer or even a home buyer just looking to market, it's an incredible time to buy, and people can really take advantage of it.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, John, thank you for your time. I know you are swamped with both sales and refis as well. So I know you've I think it was 2 weeks ago I saw you had little bags under your eyes. He's got the coffee going and all that. But I really appreciate your time. I love you, and I love McLean Mortgage, man. Everything you guys have done for me over the years. You guys are fantastic. So I really appreciate your time, man. God bless you.
No, I really appreciate you having me, Dave. And you guys at Colwell know your stuff. And you've been nothing but professional and always an awesome guy to work with.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Bye.
All right. You have a good one.
I think I'm done recording. Let's see. Yep. Still.